This is Auntie Ree. Welcome to another beautiful Friday morning. I'm so happy to be here to engage with you. I'm so excited about the conversation we are going to have, and I'm more happy of the engagements that we have had with you. Thank you so much for following us on our social media pages. Boys, let's chat. Auntie Ree's open mic. The numbers are growing, the community is growing, the conversations are heating up, the debates are many. We get your feedback, we're happy to engage. I think we're really hitting our objectives. Many times I have said that it's high time we put a focus on the boy child. At the end of the day, we want these boys to be at the space at which we want them to be, and therefore we're creating safe spaces for them to be able to talk to us, to know what positions they hold, because without that, they're abdicating their responsibilities and their roles. And I say this many times, if that happens, there are no wives for your daughters, and therefore Auntie Ree is here to have these discussions and see where is the disconnect, what is happening right now, why is the boy child lagging behind, why are they getting into why are they just not holding themselves responsible to what they need to do? Suicide numbers are high on the boy child, alcoholism, there's all this nature of peer pressure, and more than that, they've decided if the girls can do it, let them do it, habibi. But you know what, we want the boys to know what they need to, and therefore today's conversation, and I will introduce our guest for today, is almost a holistic, and this is both for the boy and the girl child. However, we want to have a focus on the boy child with special needs. We have seen, there's a lot of focus on special needs children, and we want to just delve into conversations that help us navigate, the challenges. How do we foster inclusivity for these boys, from an early age, from school setup to how they integrate in the communities and society, and how to make them responsible men when the time comes. And therefore, I would like to introduce our guest for today. You have seen her before. She has been here. She was impactful in the discussions on technology, and therefore I will be welcoming her for her to do her introduction. I also just want to take a moment to thank Raha Suits. We are shooting on location. We are on Waiyaki Way. Raha Suits, please look them up in their social medias. They offer amazing accommodation, amazing foods. Wale wanatafutanga authentic biryani, please, sio River Road. So please look up Raha Suits for your parties. They host events, they host conferences. If you have birthday parties, weddings, please call them and have a memorable event. Amina, introduce what walikupenda last time sana. So tell us about you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Ree, for inviting me to have this talk. As always, I appreciate it, because anything that can impact people out there and anything they can gain from us is actually part of what I do as a teacher. I would like to educate people so that they can have their awareness. I am Amina Tomlinson, a teacher by profession. I've taught for long, and again, I repeat, I am a mother of 2 boys, teenage boys actually. Yeah, so it's always a pleasure being here, and today as we talk about special needs, it's something that I hold very close to my heart. And all this is started when I was actually at NIS, and there's a point in my work that I was given learning support. So that's now where I started. I used to handle learning support children, so children who are a bit behind, some of them who had disabilities, and that's how I started. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember falling in love with one child. His name was Kartik. Yeah, and from there my views about just teaching and all this special needs just took a turn, and I started now trying to find out more, read more about it, until the time like 2 years ago, yes, I got a chance to do behavioral analysis for autistic children with the University of Nevada, Reno, and USIU. So they did it in collaboration, and it was a diploma course. So, but being that I have family also that are like that, it's just made me, it's close to my heart. Then I've started also a tuition center, which I do. I teach English as a second language. It's called Mindcraft Learning Hub. So I just started it the other day. Starting to pick where I teach English as a second language, and just even tuition. And even if your child is autistic, I can see where I can be of help with them.
And we will be sharing the contacts of Amina's school, so that please look it out. Amina is doing amazing work, so please feel free. Amina, I see what inspired you to focus on special needs children. Yeah. I just want to be a bit specific and ask, what challenges do boys or children generally with the special needs face as opposed to the other ones in their early learning?
One of the biggest problems is misunderstanding. Because again, when we talk about the special needs children, it's not just they're different, okay? There are people who have autism, there are people who are hyper, they have the ADD, it's a whole, they're Down syndrome children, there are people who have issues with speech, they can't talk. So it's understanding them is one of their biggest challenges. This person does not understand what I want or where I'm coming from. Whichever, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to maybe what they want to eat, what they want to do, if they're tired, you have to be able to be very patient as a person who is dealing with them, to be able to, for you guys to be able to work with each other. And then another thing that they have is trust issues. They are very keen on who they trust. Because to them, they have the self-awareness that I'm not the same as this other person, because they can see the difference. So for them, the fact that they see that they're different, they're very choosy with who becomes close to them.
But interesting. But even before we go to the school setup, sometimes I notice that parents who've had children with special needs dismiss it, either consciously or unconsciously. And this is what I mean. More often than not, you'd find, if I visit someone or if I'm around people, I can easily pick that this child is a special needs child, but the parent is in denial. And they continuously insist to send the child to a normal school. But also there's the other flip where, yes, a parent or parents of the community can clearly see that this is a special needs child, and in the African setups that we are in, believe, this is witchcraft. And therefore there is no hope for this child, either just lock them up in the house and not take them to school. So how do we, first of all, break maybe not just the stereotype, and how do we get parents to understand special needs children are special needs children, and therefore need special kind of attention?
Self-awareness is very important, and one thing I would advise parents is, if you see that there's a disconnect with your child being normal, you need to find out what's going on. So some parents, as you said, basically special needs, these children with special needs, it's now happening. Now is when, especially like here in Kenya, people are now starting to learn, this is what my child, this is the problem my child has. This is, because before it was, my child, this is witchcraft, or there's a mistake that I did in my previous life or whatever, and that is why it's now coming into my children. But it's because we are not aware of exactly what special needs is all about, the different issues that these kids have. So I think the awareness would be very important for them to read, for them to watch videos about it, because you tend to find outside in other countries they're very aware. Even schools are now even training teachers to deal with kids with autism, kids with ADD, all these different things, Down syndrome, speech therapy. So they even bring in teachers who will accommodate these children and be able to help them. Yeah, but first you need to accept it, which is very hard, and we've seen with very many parents. Acceptance is very important, because only when you accept is when now you'll be able to take initiative to look for ways of helping this child. Yeah. But if you decide you're in denial, this child will be the loser, and you'll also suffer the consequences in the end.
Which then takes them, as they grow and mature slightly. Generally boys have a lot of peer pressure, pressure to conform, pressure to be macho, pressure to, and if parents don't acknowledge this and start to mold this boy with special needs, they also succumb to pressure, and they feel the pressure. And I think it's very important that parents begin to accept and manage it, because there will come a time that these things happen.
Yes. And at the same time, while you accept it, don't treat these children differently from the way another parent or you would treat another child in your family, because you tend to find that sometimes...
But maybe you should, Amina.
Not really. Because once you start doing that, then they feel that they're actually really, really different. Yeah, which should not be the case.
I take, for example, I want to believe, and especially from your point as a teacher, again, it could be autism on whatever spectrum, or cerebral or speech therapy. When I talk about different, I'm talking about how you relate, not how you relate, sorry, maybe the level of, or how you take them to school. Because I want to think that even you cannot take a special needs child to a normal school. And therefore my question is, even if it is, how are you teachers integrating special needs and the other children? How do you separate? Because I don't think you take them through the same...
No, we don't take them through the same curriculum with the rest. Okay, you tend to make a plan for them according to their needs. And you tend to find nowadays a lot of international schools will bring in a doctor who will analyze the child and now give them the full analysis of how they can help this child, and what it is that they can do for the child to pick up and get to at least a level close to where the normal child is. So that is also very important. So there are very many doctors nowadays who are helping, and they can be able to analyze and say, okay, this child is suffering from this, and this and this and this is the way you're supposed to teach him. And even sometimes you find that they tend to actually help you with even putting up the lesson plans for them. But when I talk about you should not treat them indifferent, it's not basically even about education. It is like even socializing with other children, because they need to feel like that they can also do it. Isolating them makes them think that we are a problem in the society. And that ends up diminishing their self-confidence. They don't want to do things because they think, I'm not normal, so I can't drive a car, I can't. So they tend to have that mindset, which ends up messing them even as they grow older. But you see, when you treat them, if it's football, they can play football. If it's basketball, let them try out and then see what they're good at, because these kids might have special needs, but they're brilliant children. As long as you're able to pick a strength, what they are good at, they will focus, and then you make them focus on that, they become very brilliant. Very brilliant.
Which then takes me back to the school setup. I think it's very important to you have the child and the parents send these children to school so that the teachers can be able to pick a strength. It's interesting, you're a literature and poetry expert. Do you use some of these art to bring out, because sometimes for the children who with special needs or on the spectrum, the basic educational curriculum is not for them. So how do you integrate things like poetry, drama, to bring out their sort of inner strength that's outside of the curriculum?
Okay, a lot of I also teach something called LAMDA. LAMDA is London Academic of Music and Dramatic Arts. So it's basically public speaking, poetry, music as well. So you tend to find that this kid has a talent but is shy because of how they know who they are. I don't think I can do this, I don't think. But the minute you are able to pick and say, okay, this girl can sing, and you bring him out, believe me, they shine in a way that even the other things that they're supposed to do, they're like, okay, so if I can do this, I can actually stand in front of a crowd and I am able to voice out and I sing and I do this, then that means all these other tasks can be easier. So basically, I am a very strong believer in look for what this child loves to do. Once you bring that out of that child, everything else will start falling into place, slowly by slowly.
It's a challenge, especially for parents who have children who are normal and the special needs children. And sometimes you almost are not sure where to draw the line. And even in terms of integrating, I mean, you know, there's the normal day-to-day lives. What do you feel, what should parents do to overcome some of these challenges? What do they need to do to create some level environment?
First of all, if you're a family and you have one of your children or one of your child is a special needs child, everybody else in the family needs to know about it. They need to be aware of what is ailing this child. Okay, what makes him tick, what makes him angry, so that they don't do that. Because sometimes you see, when a child is not aware, I can do something and I'm not sure that my brother or my sister it will affect his mental state or how he thinks or how he feels. So once you're aware, once you talk about it as a family and you're like, listen, he's not different, but this is what he's going through. This is how we should treat him, this is the way we should talk to him. Even when you play with him, there are boundaries. Give them boundaries also when it comes to even socializing, playing with them and stuff like that. One thing I've noticed, especially with special needs children, when you're even reprimanding them, because you need to do that as well. It doesn't mean that because they're special needs children that they can get away with things. No. But how you speak to them, you're not even supposed to look down on them when you're speaking to them, because then they look at you and you're like,
this gigantic
so it's like you're scaring them. So you need to talk to them on the same level. They can see you and you can see them. And they can see your even facial expression. But when you're like this, all they think is that this person is angry at me and they're mad and I'm not sure the extent. So what do? They put themselves in a bubble. So even that reprimanding, they've not had anything. So if he repeats it, it's your fault. Because the way you tried to tell him what he's doing is wrong was the wrong way to begin with.
Absolutely.
And even you as a person, even you as a normal human being, you don't want someone standing on your neck and sit me down, I can see you, and it's always better because I can see your facial expressions, I can see how it's affected you. But when you're just there, it's me feeling like you just want to shout.
As is the case with every relationship, even as you put it, any normal relationship, you want to have a discussion. You don't want to have a feeling, there's some level of authority, for example. I mean, you've seen these children grow and you do an amazing work with them. Do they, depending on where they are and what condition they have, do you think that if it was managed very well, societal, school and everything, they integrate very well with society as they getting into teenage and early adulthood?
Yes, they do. They do. Because and then there's another issue. Sometimes you tend to find that special needs children, there are some who you will not really get the education part, but you can just for them to just learn a bit, you take them through the schooling and stuff. But now the challenge becomes, okay, after that child has left school, what next? And that's why I say all these children have something special that they're good at. But you as a parent, and with the help of your teachers, because they're the ones who spend the whole time, like the whole day with the children, you need to sit down and be deliberate about finding out what exactly this kid is good at. Because once that happens, then you push towards it. There is a message that I put it out there last time. It's on my phone. Let me just read it out so that you can and maybe you will it's a question that I posed to people. A lot of teachers who are my friends were like, Fiona, now when you start talking like that, it doesn't make sense. But if you read it, it actually makes a lot of sense. It says, imagine if schools actually helped kids identify their strengths by exploring their talents from a young age and growing their skills over 12 years instead of letting them go through the same routine and leaving them confused after graduation.
Deep.
Yeah? What does this mean? If you can find something that this child is good at, be it a person with special needs or even a normal child,
Yeah.
and then try and mend, grow it and grow it and grow it. By the time this kid is getting to now university, he already knows what he's good at. Yeah.
I mean, our curriculum doesn't bring that out, unfortunately. I feel, and I'm very open-minded about schooling and education, and I feel that people need to go to school, but they don't need to be confined. I feel that we're confining too much, and maybe you people need to have these conversations, as teachers and educators, have deep conversations, because I feel that the curriculum is forcing our children to remain in certain boxes. You're going to school not to acquire knowledge and kutoa ujinga, like should be the case, but certain careers have to fit in, things have to fit in, and looking at how things are changing now, and we digress a bit from special needs. The world is changing. There's so many things that people can do outside of just the normal curriculum. How are you integrating these things? Because I'll tell you, I was having a conversation with the principal of a boys' school, and eventually, so a lot of things came up. The story about boys and hairs these days, and everyone has this fancy long afro or something or whatever. And this boy went to the principal and said, but Mwalimu, the principal said, how are you going to be a teacher with this hair? It's like, but I don't want to be a teacher. Yeah, but whatever career you do, this hair is not good for you. You need to keep it short and neat. And the boy's like, that's the thing. I want to be a musician, and I need my hair to be the way I want it to be. This is a very prominent, very career-oriented school. Those ones where you want to be an engineer, doctor, or a teacher. And it just got him thinking, and he was telling me, I've actually figured that these kids want to be many things outside of just what we want. But they're reminded, and that this is a detriment, because a lot of teachers and parents are also asking these boys, unataka kukuwa musician, utachunga watoto wako na hizo pesa. Like, is the money enough? Is it good enough? And just that challenge. And
that's a big problem parents have, because nowadays, you see, your parent is there to help you, but your parent will not live your life. By the time you leave that door, it will be you living your life. So one thing I normally tell parents, stop trying to make these kids do a course because of what you want. Don't let your children live their lives through you. Okay? And then this thing about money is not everything. Money is important, but it's not everything. So you tend to find nowadays, a parent will advise the child, e-course iko na pesa. Do e-course. Just go for IT. Go for this. And maybe this child,
you'll get employment through
maybe this child does not want that. What I would advise parents is, let your child do what they have passion for. Because when it fails, they will have ways. They will look for ways, and they will find ways to innovate it.
I want to get back parent, and then you're the teacher. And what if, because a lot of parents, we have these conversations all the time. And the parent is saying, you know what? You go to school, get your engineering degree, and then try your other things. If they fail, you have your engineering degree.
But that is you wasting my time also.
Okay.
That is you wasting my time also. You would have, if you wanted to do engineering, you would have done it. Mom, dad, you would have done it. For me, I want to be a musician. Okay? For me, I want to be an actor. So what you're supposed to do as a parent is find now ways, look for connections, to help this child achieve their dreams. Because tomorrow, as I say, passion is very important also when it comes to what these children want to do. For example, my son, from the word go, my son knew what he wanted to do. Because of being in the ranch. Him is very passionate about agriculture. And he has never changed it.
Yeah.
You know, the way children decide, okay, after I grow up, I want to be, my younger son wanted to be a pilot. Now he wants to be a basketballer. Tomorrow, I don't know what he'll tell me. Okay.
I'm there, but mine is 8. Right now we are at fireman.
Yeah.
But you know, he moved at some point. He wanted to be a king.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I told him I'm not sure, but well, because we cannot break dreams.
Yes.
He wanted to be a king. I told him you never know.
Yeah.
Just never know. Maybe king, somewhere might die. So now he wants to be a fireman. But let's see.
Yeah. So passion is very important because, like now, even in school, my son is in Mary Show, as I said. They plant. He's actually when I remember when I admitted him there, he was in Form 2 and they were not doing agriculture. He told me, I don't know what you will do.
Introduce this here.
I don't know. We have an agriculture teacher here, but he says he cannot teach one child. But I don't know what you'll do. I had to talk to the director of the school. I had to talk to the principal of the school and tell him, listen, this is his career.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to change it. So you need to help this boy, get to where he wants to be. So passion is also very important because you'll find ways to innovate yourself and get it back and running, even if you failed.
So in just back kidogo to the special needs children, are teachers helping and parents should be able to help these children find a path that suits them best, because I want to believe that they also will want to integrate. They'll need to work. They'll need to do something. Yeah. But are our education systems, are our structures and institutions, Amina, here? Because now these children with special needs are in this country. Yeah. You know, wazazi wako hapa, watoto wako hapa. Yeah. Do we have institutions that foster or to bring out these things in the special needs children, where they can be able to identify their talents, their skills, and create a specialization around that?
One thing I'm very appreciative is what is now happening in Kenya. A lot of parents are bringing in all these things to help their children. For example, for me to do the course for the behavioral analysis, it was Sanaipe. She has a son who is autistic. So she used to take the son to America or South Africa to learn there. It became too expensive for her. So she went out and told them to the university, how can I help my child, because it's becoming too expensive for me to relocate here, then go back to Kenya, and I'm based in Kenya. So they told her, because of where your country is, it's in Africa, go to South Africa, speak to them. So she went to South Africa, spoke to University of Nevada, Reno, and I think she's also part of, or someone in her family was part of the board of USIU. And they combined. And that course is now ongoing. Actually, as we speak, for the listeners, as we speak, right now they're actually intaking people. So if you want to do that for parents, because sometimes parents would want to do the course so that they can be able to know how to help their children even better. For teachers who might be able to self-pay for themselves, it is called the Carlisle program. So you go to USIU, and I think they have 15 or 5 more slots left. I'm not very sure between the 15 and the 5, but they have slots and they're taking people. So if you're interested, please communicate with USIU and tell them you want to know about the Carlisle program. It's very, very important for the people who have children who are autistic and people who are actually interested in helping autistic children to just be better people in this world. Yeah.
And that makes it very conclusive for me, just this discussion, because there's hope, and it doesn't mean that when a child has special needs, that's the end of it for them. They can, we are able to tap into them, we're able to see what works best for them. It's easy for and now if institutions are offering this, it's also very good for parents, so that you just know how do you deal with your child, what support do you give them. I know parents out here, and I know a couple who have gone out of their way to learn everything that they can to help their children, and you guys do an amazing job. It may seem hard and impossible at times, but it will pay off, because one day your son or your daughter will stand up and be able to do things for themselves. And I'm happy that now we have organizations and institutions offering support And just an eye-opener.
And I also encourage parents to look at people who have succeeded in life, because that gives you the strength to be able to continue. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's really not easy. For teachers who actually deal with special needs children, I commend you. For parents who are dealing with these children at home, I commend you, because it's not easy. You really need to find strength. You really need to pray a lot, so that you don't give up. But the encouraging part is there are people who are out there who have done amazing, and they're doing very well now, grown-ups, and they're employing people. They've been able to employ people. Yet, if they tell you about what they went through and the difficulties they went through and how they were able to overcome it, it becomes very encouraging to parents. And they're like, okay, if this guy could make it, and probably that person was in a worse situation than your own child is going through. So I would advise parents and even teachers who are dealing with these kids, look at people who have succeeded, because it will give you the courage to be able to continue doing what you're doing. For parents especially, look for what your child is good at, because there's a kid that I was shadowing in Porterhouse, and he was not, first of all, he's not Kenyan, so English was not his first language, and then he's autistic. I can tell you, Auntie Resh, sometimes I would go into class and I'm trying to explain to this, because now we are using translation, we are using actions, and you tend to find even the time teachers could not deal with him. So even exams, he used to come to my office and sit with me, and now I'm the one who's going to take him through his exams, explain to him, translate for him, because I'm a very patient person when it comes to children, not at all when it comes to grown-ups, because with grown-ups I believe everything you do is intentional, but for kids, for them it's a learning process. They're learning, and it is your job to teach them to be the person that you want them to be.
And to be able to help them to bring out, because a lot of times, as is the case with any other child, irrespective of special needs or not, sometimes it takes very strong and intentional people to bring out the best of them.
The best of them, that's very true.
Otherwise, they'll be laissez-faire, they'll just want to go through the system. But sometimes we have seen where teachers and parents tell them you can do it, you can, and that's what we want.
So for this boy, we actually went through, now he can speak English.
Amazing.
Yes, he is doing quite well, I believe. But again, the father was also a very good support system. He kept supporting him and also listening to what I bring in, the ideas and everything like that. So he was also very supportive. Now the other day we were just there, and we were looking for what he's good at. This boy, you would ask him, what do you want to be? He was bought a bike, and he fixed the bike by himself. Every time it gets spoiled, he tries to fix it. One time I had a puncture, and he fixed my puncture without even me going anywhere. He was able to change the tire and everything. So I told the dad, this boy can be a very good mechanic. So now, what is the next move? It's him to find him somewhere where he can be able to even learn a few things in mechanic, as even during weekends and stuff. So he start him now, so that now this boy can that passion that he has can now grow into something. So during weekends, instead of him being idle, look for somewhere where he can go, change a puncture, do this, learn small skills in mechanic. While at that, you're making a plan. Before you know it, this boy can even be a good mechanic. He has a place of his own, a garage of his own. He's employing people, so he's creating jobs.
Doing something reasonable.
In the society. He doesn't have to do the paperwork. Employ for him someone who will do the charging and everything. Him is just doing what he's good at. So these things happen, and these people grow and become very good people in the society. And
I think so. And I think it's also important, Amina, that employers begin to integrate these people in the communities, because, depending on the nature of the special need, they can be able to work. They may not function as the others who are more abled, perhaps, but I think organizations and jobs also want to create, maybe say they can work for 2 or 3 hours in a day. They can do certain jobs because they're normal people.
They're normal, and they also need to give back to the community.
Yes, and also to feel useful, because there's something about, generally for boys, and this is mostly for boys, when a man is at the age of providing, and he's not able to, it also eats in the esteem.
Yes, it
So
does.
even as we're talking to boys and now closer, the ones with the special needs, they may not be able to, drive the trailers and do, bigger and harder jobs, but they can be able to do something. And it's important now to sit down, and organizations say certain jobs would be taken by. I always really appreciate the people with disabilities, and how organizations have tried to fit them in. And maybe now we need to look at the special needs, because
yes,
this
as
is a different category,
Yeah.
and say, look, I have been following a particular parent, I think in West Africa, and it's a special needs girl. She's on the spectrum, and the parents and the community, the school have done an amazing job. They have taken her to school. She has, therapy, speech, and everything. And she's employed in one flagship hotel. And her job is to just load into the washing machine. And every time the mother takes videos of her, there's so much happiness on this girl's face. She almost feels useful. And every morning she'd wake up wanting to look forward to, it just truly melts my heart. So
because they also need to feel important in this society and appreciated as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the advice I would also give people who actually can be able to teach about special needs, about these children who are in the spectrum, I would advise like either colleges or institutions that can be able to give any type of awareness, to look for ways and do forums, with parents, with teachers, and just help them learn how to handle these kids. Because you tend to find that, you see, Kenya is divided. There are people who can be able to afford to take themselves and learn. There are people who can afford to actually pay for someone to come and help the child. But there are others who can't. You can't tell me someone in Kibera will be able to afford, Even for me, me being there, if I can be able to also just go and, one day, take a day, go to Kibera, help.
And also to demystify,
yes,
because very unfortunately we have seen that a lot of the misconception about special needs children stems from poorer backgrounds.
Yes.
And the people like yourselves, Amina, who are in that space, need to go and demystify and tell the parents, it's not witchcraft. It's not something that you did back in the day that's haunting you. This is a condition. There's help. There's schools. This can be done. Even just that impetus to get them to open the doors, because these kids are being locked up in houses. Stigma. There's still a lot of stigma, and I say this because for us to even want to discuss this conversation today, a boy reached out and his brother is a special needs child, and they're not necessarily poor, the usual middle income families, but the parents are almost embarrassed to have this child
which
out
happens
there.
a lot as well, and that's
so the stigma all around it. So they're bringing a teacher because they can afford to in the house, and we're saying that at some point this boy will want to socialize
with people. Yes. Learn
but
how to interact.
So that you're going through the effort of getting him therapy is good, but please give him space to socialize. Because he will not always just live in that house.
And he will need that. He will need to be. And then even you as a parent, you'll need to know how your child will behave when he's with a certain age group.
And at the point where you're also letting go.
Yes. And then something else I've come to learn and noticed about the kids with special needs or the kids on the spectrum is that they actually mature faster.
Is that so?
Than the normal children. So when it comes to adolescent, when it comes to puberty, they mature faster at an earlier age than the normal child. So that also parents need to be aware of, because again, someone out there can take advantage of this child, yet it is just because you didn't have the knowledge. Another thing I would also put out there is that the doctors who actually analyze these children, sometimes it's also, there are people who can't really afford it. So if there's a way they can be able to reduce up the prices according to, the status quo of people, it will really, really help, because some of these doctors charge 100,000 just to analyze your child, 80,000. And you might find that this parent is actually in need of this, to know exactly what is ailing this child, but they don't have, you know, the capacity. They cannot get that 100,000 or 80,000. So if there's a way they can even do like drives, you know, and maybe go to Kibera and say, okay, today we are just going to analyze these children. If you know you have kids who are on the spectrum, or who you think have special needs, come and maybe bring a 5,000 shillings. You know, it's just giving back to the community. Yeah. So I think even these doctors need to be aware that there are people who are suffering and need their help, you know, to be able to know exactly how to help these children. So if they can do things like drives and just lower the price, you know, and help, because it's still giving back to the community, which we all, it is our responsibility to do that. So
I couldn't agree more. I think this is an eye-opener discussion and conversation on you know, the special needs, and what we're seeing is these children, and specifically boys, are not different from any other child, and therefore as parents I think that our takeaway is seek help. Understand first of all what exactly is the issue with the child. There's many things. It could just be speech therapy, they could be on the spectrum, or you know, whatever it is that they wanna, and I'm no expert to it, but I think the point is to be able to accept that this is the situation you're in, and then just looking at how schools help these children and mold them, because at some point inevitably they will be integrating in the society, and they'll be a part of it, and we just wanted them to know, because we meet them in the forums that we are in, and we want them to know that you are normal, you know, just that there's a 23-year-old boy who's different from you. There's no difference as such, you know, and you know, there's opportunities, there's hope, there's things you can do. Just identify what you're good at with the help of the parents and the institutions, and just do it, you know, and it is possible to live a normal life, you know. And there's
so
hope.
for the parents going through all this, and for the teachers who are also struggling to help these kids, chin up, kudos. You're doing a good job. We are also praying for you, and we're rooting for you. So continue doing what you're doing, do your best, and these kids will one day come to shock you, because they end up turning to become very brilliant people. I am a strong believer of that, and I have seen with so many kids who have gone through autism, special needs, and in the spectrum, and they've become brilliant people. They've turned out to be brilliant. Parents, read and see, and let the people out there who have gone through it and have managed to be successful, let them be your encouragement. Let them help you to not give up on taking care of these children. Again, I say kudos and a job well done. Thank you.
That's it. We have heard it from the expert. Amina mentioned her school. Please feel free to look it up. We'll share the details. We just want to thank you, parents, because you know, the messages that we get is like, how do we get these boys with special needs to be men who'll stand up tomorrow? There's hope. So just go out there, and it's never easy, and we want to appreciate you, the parents, because what you do will pay off, you know, and one day that boy or that girl, you know, today will stand up and be able to do things for themselves and by themselves, and you'll be very happy at all the sacrifices you took. So feel encouraged, know that we're there. Please leave a comment to us if you'd like links and connections to some of the institutions that help and support these children. I'm happy to share them with you. I'm happy to direct you to places where you can go and even understand what is wrong with your child, because sometimes it's a whole, you're lost, you know, and you don't even know whether am I dealing with, is it speech therapy, is it just autism, what is it? But I'm happy to share. Let us know what you'd like to know. Please leave a comment to us. It's encouraging. Leave a comment to other parents who are in, you know, this situation. So thank you very, very much. I think we're about to have our biryani. I was promised by Raha Suits, so we shall go for it. I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to our channel, comment, like, and share. Let us know what you'd like us to continue to speak about. Our space is creating an environment where boys will thrive. You know, I can't overemphasize that at the end of the day, we want upright men. We want men who hold the rightful positions as they should. We want confident men, you know, and if we are able to change their perception and make them see, and, you know, maybe demystify some of the issues that they have, we're really happy to do that. The boy child is very close to my heart as Auntie Ree, and I come to you and we talk to you and we, you know, find solutions to those things that you would otherwise find hard. And today I just want to put a comment. I know we had a clip last week about the suicide prevention, but just to speak from my heart and tell you, please don't die with it. You know, whatever it is, it could be a financial issue, it could be a relationship issue, it could be a job issue, you know, a career. Don't take the easy route out. There's always somebody who can be able to listen and hear you out and maybe offer an ear, because sometimes it not maybe the solution, but it will be a problem half solved when you talk about it. So please don't die with it. There's many people who would want to help. Don't take the easier route out. So feel encouraged and know that nothing does not have a solution. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Auntie Ree, and let's meet again next time. Thank you.